The sun is a hammer. It beats down on the cracked earth of this ancient African savanna, a landscape that existed millions of years before humans would give it a name. He moves across it. A small, hairy figure, a creature of transition. He is one of the first of his kind, a proto-minus Australopithecus, and his existence is defined by the great evolutionary gamble of bipedalism. To walk on two legs is to see over the tall grass, to free the hands for carrying food and wielding crude tools. It is also to be perpetually unstable, a walking tower of bone and flesh balanced on two small points. This is a fundamental truth of his prehistoric life. For 1,000 steps, this upright posture is a miracle. For the 1,000 minus and minus first, it can be a catastrophe. He is tracking a scent on the wind, the sweet, cloying smell of a kill he did not make. He is a scavenger as much as a hunter, and the scent promises a bounty. His focus is absolute, his eyes fixed on the heat minus haze in the distance. He does not see the subtle shift in the terrain, the way the solid ground gives way to a network of fissures, hidden by a thin crust of dried mud and grass. His foot comes down. The crust gives way. There is no time to recalibrate, no moment to flail his long arms for balance. The world simply vanishes from beneath him. He falls. The drop is not long, perhaps 15 feet, but it is a chaotic, scraping eternity. His shoulder smacks against a limestone outcrop, and his descent becomes a tumble. He lands with his full weight on his left leg, which is twisted beneath him. The snap is not a sound he hears with his ears, but with his entire skeleton. It is a deep, internal percussion of utter finality. Pain is the first thing to return. It is a white minus hot sun blooming behind his eyes, a fire that consumes all thought. He lies at the bottom of the narrow pit, the sky reduced to a small, impossibly bright circle above him. When he can finally force himself to look, he sees the ruin of his leg. The shin bone is shattered, its jagged white end piercing the skin, the wound already welling with dark, sluggish blood, a compound fracture. He has seen this before in other animals. It is always a death sentence. This is his emotional turning point. The moment hope is extinguished by the cold, hard reality of his own anatomy, he tries to call out that guttural bark of pain and fear, but the sound is swallowed by the rock walls of his prison. As the shock begins to recede, replaced by a throbbing agony, his senses take in his surroundings. He has fallen into a natural trap, a limestone sinkhole, and he is not the first. In the cool shadows at the bottom, he can see them, the scattered, bleached bones of other creatures. A gazelle's skull, its horns still intact, the delicate trick bridge of a warthog, the heavy femur of something much larger. It is a silent, chaotic bone, a natural exhibit of taphonomy, the story of how life is unmaidened, buried by time. He has stumbled into a place where the processes of decay and fossilization begin. He is no longer just a hunter. He is now part of the collection. He is an unwilling entry in the long, slow ledger of this ancient earth, a future piece of evidence in the story of his own kind. Time dissolves. The circular sky above is a cruel clock, its light shifting from the white glare of midday to the soft gold of evening, and finally to the deep, star-minus-pricked indigo of night. Thirst is the first tormentor. His tongue is a dry stone in his mouth, his throat trough from swallowing dust. The memory of water becomes a mirage that flickers at the edges of his consciousness. Then comes the fever. It starts as a deep chill, a trembling in his limbs that has nothing to do with the night's cold. It is followed by a wave of heat that radiates from the shattered leg. The wound is no longer just a wound. It is a nexus of decay. It is swollen to twice its normal size, the skin stretched, taut and glossy. A venomous purple minus red. A foul sweetness taints the air. This is the onset of a deep bone infection, a tide of poison a future science will call osteomyelitis. His leg is no longer a part of him. It is a dying thing chained to his body, and it is pulling him down into the earth with it. It is the smell of his own decay that brings them. He hears them first, a series of high minus pitch, giggling calls that echo an Evingwam in the confines of the pit. He pushes himself up, his back scraping against the rock, and looks towards the circle of sky. Run by run, silhouettes blot out the stars. Their shapes are unmistakable, the sloping backs, the powerful necks, the massive jaws of primitive hyenas. They have come for him, but they do not attack. They simply gather at the edge, their dark forms ringing his small window to the world. He can hear the scrape of their claws on the rock, can smell the rain, carrion miners stink of their breath on the night air. They are a jury of executioners, and their patience is absolute. This becomes his new reality, a grim lesson in the principles of ethology. He learns their rhythms. They are most active at dusk and dawn. Their whooping calls a chorus that announces the beginning and end of his suffering. During the day, they rest in the shade near the pit, their yellow eyes occasionally peering down at him, assessing. They are not merely waiting for him to die. They are actively guarding their future meal from other scavengers. This is not mindless instinct. It is a calculated investment of their time. The absence of his own clan becomes a physical ache, a phantom limb. A dozen of his kind could doctor these creatures away with thrown rocks and loud cries. But he is one. He is alone, and his isolation is their greatest weapon. This is the dark side of community, the terrifying power of the pack when viewed from the outside. A concept fundamental to the entire story of hominid history. One of the hyenas, a large female, grazed bold. She lowers her head into the opening, her jaws working, saliva dripping from her muzzle. She lets out a low growl, a sound of anticipation. He screams at it. The row, hoarse sound of defiance. He finds a loose rock, the size of his fist, and hurls it upwards. It clatters uselessly against the pit wall, 10 feet short. The hyena is unbothered. It watches him, its head cocked, as if amused by this final, futile spark of resistance from its prey. This is his hard choice: to lie down and let the fever take him, or to fight a battle he cannot possibly win. The hyena's casual confidence makes the choice for him. He will not be food waiting to spoil. The world is pain, but beneath the pain is a deeper, colder current. The simple, biological command to live. It is a form of altruism directed inward. The body's final, desperate act of loyalty to itself. He will not die here. He will not become another set of bones in this limestone grave. The decision is not a thought. It is a physical imperative. He begins to move. He uses his powerful arms, products of a life spent climbing before walking, to drag his body towards the pit wall. The broken leg is an anchor of agony. Every movement sends a jolt of fire through his nervous system. The shattered ends of the bone grinding together. He bites down on a scream. The sound is strangled gasp. He has to ignore the leg, to treat it as a piece of dead meat he is unfortunately still attached to. The rock face is his new world. It is a vertical landscape of cracks, ledges, and crumbling holes. His climb is a slow, agonizing calculus of leverage and pain. His mind, free from the higher minus-level thought of a future human, is a machine of pure physical problem minus solving. This is proprioception at its most raw. His body's innate, silent understanding of its own weight, its own limits, the precise angle of pressure needed to hold on. His fingers, strong and calloused, find a crack. He tests it, pulling gently. Then with more force, it holds. He braces his good foot against a small nub of rock and pulls himself upward. I single in. He drags the broken leg up behind him. The scrape of bone on stone a sickening counterpoint to his ragged breathing. His survival skills are not a taught curriculum. They are a set of instincts honed over a million years of evolution. Above, the hyenas grow agitated. Their patient vigil is disrupted. The food is not behaving as food should. They begin to circle the opening, their whines and growls growing more intense. Their confusion is his shield. He focuses on the rock in front of his face, on the next handhold, and the one after that. One handhold at a time, and all Percy's. He has moved 3 feet. His body is slick with sweat and blood. His muscles scream, not with the sharp pain of the break, but with the deep, burning ache of absolute exhaustion. He reaches for a promising outcrop, his fingers closing around it, as he shifts his weight. The rock crumbles in his hand, dissolving into a shower of grit and dust. He falls, but only a foot. His other hand, jammed deep into a fissure, holds fast. He dangles for a terrifying moment, his body a pendulum of agony. The sole, dead weight of his leg threatening to rip his arm from its socket. He looks down and sees the boneyard waiting for him, but the grip holds, slowly, painstakingly. He finds a new foothold for his good leg and continues. He climbs out of his tomb, inch by painful inch, transforming it into a crucible. As his head finally clears the rim of the pit, the sun blinds him. He scrambles over the edge, a broken, bleeding thing, and collapses onto the hot earth. The hyenas are there, a few yards away, but they do not charge. They are confronted with an impossibility. The dead has risen. He is no longer trapped prey. He is something other, something that refused its place in the natural order. They hesitate, and that hesitation is all he needs. He begins to crawl, dragging his shattered leg through the dust, away from the hole that was meant to be his end, one agonizing inch at a time. We do not know if he made it back to his clan. The story of these ancient humans is written in a fossil record that is almost entirely silent on the fate of individuals. The field of archaeology uncovers the bones, but not the final heartbeats. He may have crawled for a day before the infection finally claimed him, or he may have been found, but his personal fate is almost irrelevant. What matters is the climb. What matters is that, faced with the absolute certainty of death, a being with a brain barely larger than a chimpanzee's made the choice to try. That unreasonable, illogical, and profoundly human refusal to surrender is the bedrock upon which our entire species is built. His struggle was not just a fight for his own life, but a perfect metaphor for the larger story of human evolution. We are a species that fell into a hole, a world of predators and ice ages and cosmic indifference, and we climbed out, one painful, intelligent, and cooperative handhold at a time. The study of anthropology is, at its core, the study of that climb. His individual will to live is the same fire that would one day build cities and cross oceans. It is the most important fossil he could ever leave behind, the ghost of an indomitable spirit. The body is a machine built to fail. The will to live is the ghost that haunts it. But what happens when the greatest threat is not a fall, but a flood?